Welcome to Nature Nurture Hub. Every garden deserves a golden glow, and nothing delivers that honeyed radiance better than the Rhododendron Honey Butter. Christchurch. The Rhododendron Honey Butter, see Christchurch, is a masterpiece of soft color and rich texture, cherished by gardeners who crave elegance, warmth, and charm in every corner of their outdoor haven. Originating from the lush garden landscapes of Christchurch, this hybrid rhododendron is prized for its creamy yellow to apricot blooms that unfold like butter under spring sunlight. The petals hold a soft glow that blends perfectly with the gentle greens of its foliage, creating a dreamlike aura that transforms even the simplest garden into a sanctuary of color and calm. In the United States, where gardening traditions blend creativity with climate adaptability, the Rhododendron Honey Butter, thus Christchurch, has found its home in thousands of backyards, from the misty coasts of the Pacific Northwest to the cool, shaded corners of the Appalachian trails. Growing this plant isn't just about adding color. It's about embracing a living artwork. Rhododendron Honey Butter. Christchurch is beloved for its resilience and long-lasting beauty. But like all masterpieces, it thrives best under a tender, thoughtful hand. For beginners, understanding its needs from soil to sunlight can make all the difference. Luckily, with a few mindful steps, this radiant shrub rewards you with lush, buttery blossoms every spring and deep, evergreen leaves that whisper serenity throughout the year. If you're planting Rhododendron Honey Butter Christchurch in your American garden for the first time, think of it as adopting a piece of the countryside's golden heart. Its preference for acidic soil, cool roots, and dappled light makes it ideal for shaded gardens, woodland edges, or north-facing yards where other plants may struggle. The journey begins with choosing the right location, a place that protects the plant from scorching midday sun, yet allows gentle morning rays to kiss its blooms. Avoid open, wind-exposed sites. Rhododendrons love stillness and protection. The honey butter variety, in particular, carries a delicacy in its petal texture that appreciates a calm environment. When it comes to soil preparation, think soft, rich, and well-drained. Heavy clay or compacted soil can suffocate the roots, while sandy soil drains too quickly, leaving them thirsty. A mix of peat moss, composted pine bark, and leaf mold creates an ideal blend for the Rhododendron Honey Butter, Christchurch. This mixture mimics the natural woodland conditions where these plants thrive, moist but airy, acidic but fertile. Test your soil pH. Rhododendrons flourish best between 4.5 and 6. If the pH is higher, simply amend it with sulfur or organic matter, like coffee grounds or oak leaf mulch. Your plant will thank you with richer foliage and brighter blooms. Planting time is another key factor. In the USA, the best months for planting Rhododendron Honey Butter Christchurch are early spring or early fall, depending on your region. In northern states like Washington, Oregon, or Maine, early spring is ideal when frost risk passes but soil remains cool. In southern regions such as Georgia or North Carolina, fall planting helps roots establish before summer heat arrives. Dig a hole twice as wide as the root ball, but no deeper. Place your plant gently, ensuring the root crown sits slightly above soil level. Rhododendrons dislike being buried too deeply. Fill with your prepared mix water thoroughly and finish with a thick layer of organic mulch to maintain moisture and regulate temperature. Caring for your rhododendron honey butters, Christchurch is like caring for a friend who enjoys comfort and consistency. Water regularly, but avoid waterlogging. Soggy roots are a rhododendron's worst enemy. The goal is steady moisture, never drought, never swamp. During hot American summers, especially in zones 8 and 9, watering early in the morning or late afternoon helps the plant absorb moisture efficiently without leaf scorch. Light misting over the foliage in dry climates can also refresh the leaves, mimicking the humidity of its native environment. Fertilizing should be gentle and organic. Avoid high nitrogen fertilizers that promote leaf growth at the expense of flowers. Instead, use a slow-release fertilizer specifically designed for acid-loving plants. Applied in late winter or early spring, you can also use composted pine needles or a natural rhododendron mix available in most American garden centers. Remember, less is more. Rhododendron Honey Butter's Christchurch prefers subtle nourishment over force feeding. Light plays a major role in how beautifully your plant blooms. While some rhododendrons can tolerate full sun in northern climates, honey butter performs best in partial shade. The soft morning light of an eastern exposure or the filtered afternoon glow beneath taller trees gives it the ideal balance of warmth and protection. Direct, intense sunlight can fade the buttery tones of the flowers, while too much shade limits blooming. Your happy medium brings out the plant's full golden charm. Pruning the rhododendron honey butter, Christchurch is more of a gentle grooming session than a strict haircut. After flowering, simply remove the spent blooms, a process known as deadheading, by pinching them off carefully. This helps redirect the plant's energy toward next year's buds rather than seed production. If your shrub has grown too dense, lightly thin out older branches to allow airflow and light to reach the inner canopy. Avoid cutting into old wood. New growth emerges from the tips, and deep pruning can reduce flowering for years. Every season brings a new rhythm to the life of your rhododendron honey butters Christchurch, and learning to flow with it is key to unlocking its full beauty. In spring, your garden becomes a symphony of fresh growth. This is when the first buds swell with promise, unfurling into clusters of soft golden blooms kissed with buttery cream hues. During this season, your main role is to support new growth with adequate watering and light feeding. Mulching early in spring helps retain moisture as temperatures rise, and applying a slow-release organic fertilizer just before blooming ensures your plant has the nutrients it needs to produce abundant flowers. When summer arrives, your rhododendron honey butter Christchurch appreciates a little extra care. The intense sunlight in many American states can stress even the hardiest shrubs. Keep the root zone cool by maintaining a 2-3 inch layer of mulch. Pine needles, shredded bark, or oak leaves are perfect choices. These not only keep the roots moist, but also help maintain soil acidity. Water deeply once or twice a week rather than frequent shallow watering. Deep moisture encourages stronger root growth. If you live in hotter regions such as parts of Texas or California, provide temporary shade using garden fabric during heat waves to prevent leaf scorch. By fall, the plant begins preparing for rest. You'll notice a slowdown in growth, but the leaves of Rhododendron Honey Butter Christchurch remain lush and evergreen, giving your garden a rich texture even as other plants fade. Fall is a good time to check for pests like lace bugs or aphids that may have lingered from summer. These can be managed with insecticidal soap or neem oil, natural solutions that won't harm beneficial insects. Avoid fertilizing in fall. Instead, let your plant gradually enter dormancy. Before the first frost, add a protective layer of mulch to insulate the roots. In colder climates such as the northern Midwest or New England, wrapping the base with burlap or using frost cloth can help protect young shrubs from winter damage. Winter care is all about patience and protection. The Rhododendron Honey Butter Christchurch is hardy but appreciates shelter from icy winds and heavy snow. If planted near a wall or larger evergreens, it benefits from natural shielding. During dry winter spells, water lightly when the soil isn't frozen to prevent dehydration, as evergreen rhododendrons can lose moisture through their leaves even in cold weather. Avoid walking on frozen soil around the plant. Compaction can damage delicate roots. Propagation of Rhododendron Honey Butter Christchurch is a joy for gardeners who want to expand their golden haven. The most common and reliable method is semi-hardwood cuttings taken in late summer. Choose healthy stems about 6 inches long, remove the lower leaves, and dip the cut ends in rooting hormone. Plant them in a mix of peat moss and perlite, and keep the medium slightly moist but not soggy. Covering the container with a clear plastic dome helps retain humidity. Within 8-12 weeks, roots should begin forming, and by the following spring, you'll have new young plants ready to settle into your garden beds. For those who prefer natural propagation, layering works beautifully with Rhododendron Honey Butter Christchurch. Simply bend a low branch to the ground, slightly wound the underside of the stem, and bury it partially under moist soil while keeping the tip exposed. Secure it with a small stone or wire. Over several months, roots will form at the buried section. Once established, you can cut the new plant free and transplant it to its new home. This gentle, low-stress method mirrors how rhododendrons spread in nature. Another important element of care is understanding the subtle language of your plant. If the leaves of your Rhododendron Honey Butters Christchurch start to curl or droop, it's often a sign of water stress, either too much or too little. Yellowing leaves may indicate alkaline soil, while brown edges suggest excessive fertilizer or poor drainage. A healthy plant should have deep green leaves with a slight gloss. Listening to these signs helps you respond before any major issues arise. Pests and diseases, though rare when the plant is well cared for, can occasionally appear. Root rot is one of the most common problems caused by waterlogged soil or poor drainage. To prevent it, ensure the planting site drains freely and never allow the roots to sit in standing water. Fungal leaf spots may occur during overly humid conditions. Pruning to improve airflow and avoiding overhead watering can help. If powdery mildew appears, a simple baking soda and water spray can manage it naturally. In terms of landscape design, Rhododendron Honey Butter's Christchurch is remarkably versatile. It thrives as a standalone focal point, but it also shines when paired with companions that enhance its golden tones. Ferns, azaleas, hostas, and Japanese maples create stunning visual harmony, blending texture and color. In American woodland gardens, this rhododendron adds warmth and brightness to shady corners where other blooms fade. You can also plant it along pathways or near water features, where its reflection dances beautifully in gentle sunlight. Container gardening is another great option for those with limited space. A large, well-draining pot filled with acidic soil mix can house a Rhododendron Honey Butter's Christchurch beautifully on patios or balconies. Just remember, potted plants need more frequent watering and a bit of winter protection if you live in colder zones. Move containers near sheltered walls during frost or wrap them in insulating material. With the right care, even container-grown rhododendrons can live for decades. The bloom cycle of Rhododendron Honey Butter's Christchurch is a marvel to witness, typically flowering in mid to late spring. Each cluster bursts open with creamy yellow petals that deepen to a buttery gold as the season warms. The flowers often carry a delicate fragrance, drawing bees and butterflies. Deadheading the spent blooms immediately after flowering keeps the shrub neat and encourages next year's flower buds to form. Avoid pruning too late in the season, as next year's buds develop shortly after the bloom period. Feeding your Rhododendron Honey Butters Christchurch properly ensures its ongoing vitality. In early spring, a balanced slow-release fertilizer for acid-loving plants is ideal. Look for an NPK ratio around 10:8:6, which supports healthy leaves and abundant blossoms. Midway through summer, you can give a light organic feed using compost tea or seaweed extract to sustain growth without overloading nutrients. Stop fertilizing after July to allow the plant to harden off before winter. Rhododendrons are also responsive to good airflow. Avoid planting too closely to walls or fences where air circulation is poor, as stagnant air can encourage mold. Space plants at least 3 to 4 feet apart to allow healthy development. When choosing a site, consider natural rainfall patterns too. While Rhododendron Honey Butter Christchurch loves moisture, it does not tolerate flooding. Slightly raised beds can help in regions prone to heavy rain. In the American context, different USDA hardiness zones demand slightly varied care approaches. In zones 5 to 7, the plant thrives naturally outdoors. In colder areas, provide more winter protection and mulch heavily. In warmer zones, focus on keeping roots cool and providing light shade. The honey butter variety's adaptability makes it one of the most forgiving rhododendrons for first-time growers, which is why it's becoming increasingly popular across the USA, from Oregon's misty valleys to North Carolina's gentle hillsides. There's a quiet magic that comes with watching your Rhododendron Honey Butter Christchurch mature over the years. The first spring after planting may bring just a handful of blooms, gentle hints of the glory to come. But as seasons pass, the plant begins to express its full character. Each year, the clusters grow denser, the color richer, and the leaves glossier, telling the story of a plant deeply rooted in its space and loved by its caretaker. It's a journey of patience and reward, of subtle transformation that reflects the gardener's own growth. One of the most charming things about Rhododendron Honey Butter, Christchurch, is how its beauty changes with light. In morning sun, its flowers gleam with creamy pastel tones, while evening light gives them a deeper, almost honeyed warmth. During cloudy days, the soft apricot hue seems to glow from within, making it a perfect centerpiece for shaded or woodland-style gardens across the USA. This ever-changing color palette makes the plant a living artwork, never static, always evolving with the day's rhythm. Season after season, maintaining soil health remains the key to long-term success. Rhododendrons, including honey butters, Christchurch, are surface-rooted plants, meaning their roots grow near the top layer of soil where nutrients and oxygen are abundant. To keep them thriving, refresh the mulch each spring with pine needles, leaf mold, or fine bark. This not only keeps weeds at bay, but also encourages earthworms and beneficial microbes to enrich the soil naturally. Every 2 to 3 years, you can lightly dress with compost to replenish organic matter. You avoid digging deeply around the base, as rhododendrons dislike root disturbance. Over time, if you notice reduced flowering or dull foliage, it may be time to rejuvenate the soil. Mix in a layer of organic matter like peat moss or composted pine bark around the root zone without disturbing the plant. Water thoroughly after soil amendments to activate microbial activity. The difference this makes is remarkable. Within a season or two, the Rhododendron Honey Butter, Christchurch, often responds with renewed vigor, brighter leaves, and more abundant blooms. For gardeners in urban or suburban settings, Rhododendron Honey Butter Christchurch brings a sense of peace and timeless beauty to smaller landscapes. It's not only a flowering shrub, but also a living sanctuary for pollinators. Bees and butterflies are naturally drawn to its gentle scent and open blossoms, making it a valuable addition to eco-friendly gardens. Plant it near benches, patios, or garden paths so you can enjoy the fragrance and watch the wildlife it attracts. In a world that often rushes, this plant invites you to pause and reconnect with nature's calm. The Rhododendron Honey Butter, Christchurch, also carries symbolic meaning across cultures. In the language of flowers, rhododendrons often represent beauty, caution, and elegance. The honey butter variety, with its soft golden hues, adds a layer of warmth and gratitude, symbolizing friendship, new beginnings, and harmony. Many gardeners in the USA plant it to celebrate milestones such as new homes, anniversaries, or family gatherings as it grows into a graceful symbol of enduring care. If you want to pair your rhododendron honey butters Christchurch with other plants, choose companions that appreciate similar acidic, moist, and shaded conditions. Japanese pyrus, camellias, azaleas, and hydrangeas are wonderful allies. Ground covers like ajuga ferns, your creeping thyme can fill the space beneath its canopy, helping maintain soil moisture while adding texture. The mix of soft foliage and varied bloom shapes creates a lush, layered garden that feels alive in every season. For a more dramatic design, plant several Rhododendron Honey Butters, Christchurch shrubs in a group or along a curved border. Their synchronized blooming creates a visual wave of buttery gold across your landscape. A breathtaking sight in late spring. If your space allows, stagger planting at different heights to give depth and dimension, and complement the golden tones with blue or purple flowers like iris or lavender. The contrast of cool and warm hues brings a painterly quality to your garden composition. Patience is part of the art. Rhododendron Honey Butter, us Christchurch, grows slowly but steadily, forming a dense, rounded shrub over several years. Mature plants often reach 4 to 5 feet tall and wide, making them ideal for foundation plantings or shaded garden borders. Their evergreen nature means you'll enjoy lush greenery year-round, even when winter silences most of your garden. When snow falls, its leaves hold delicate crystals of frost, a living sculpture of resilience. As your garden matures with your Rhododendron Honey Butter Christchurch, you'll start to notice the small, intimate details that make it unique, the subtle veins in its leaves, the gentle curve of each petal, and the way new buds form like clusters of promise after every bloom. These are the quiet joys of gardening that can't be rushed or replaced. The honey butter variety rewards attention, and every moment spent tending it adds another layer of connection between you and the natural world. Through droughts, rains, and changing seasons, the Rhododendron Honey Butter, us Christchurch, stands as a symbol of endurance and beauty, proof that even delicate things can thrive with the right care. Whether you're a beginner gardener or a seasoned enthusiast, this plant teaches you to observe, nurture, and celebrate growth in all its forms. And that's what gardening truly is. A journey of patience, passion, and partnership with the earth. You golden blossoms of your Rhododendron Honey Butter Christchurch will not just brighten your yard, they'll brighten your spirit. Each bloom becomes a reminder that nature rewards those who care, that beauty is born from time and attention, and that even in the smallest spaces, life can flourish in extraordinary color. So as you step into your garden this season, imagine the soft glow of your Rhododendron Honey Butter Christchurch catching the morning sun, bees humming nearby, and a breeze carrying its gentle fragrance through your yard. Feel the sense of peace that comes from nurturing something beautiful with your own hands. Whether you're planting your first shrub or expanding a thriving garden, let this radiant rhododendron become your signature touch, a reflection of warmth, love, and harmony in your home landscape. Now it's your turn to bring this beauty to life. Start your journey today and let your garden become a living canvas of golden blossoms and evergreen grace. Grow with Nature Nurture Hub and let your passion for nature bloom brighter than ever. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more inspiring garden tips, seasonal care guides, and real-life growing experiences that help you nurture your world one plant at a time.